Hello there, this is Draco, and we're doing another Modern League, this time again live from the stream here. So if you're watching this from YouTube, hi there, you can like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing a lot more Modern action. And if you're here live, welcome. We'll do a fun run today. We have an interesting list. Last time we did some testing and we found that actually Master of Waves could be looking really good in this meta. So we want to give him another run today, running this Modern League here. That's what's going to happen today. We're going to load up and going to do a deck check real soon about the deck we're going to play today. And then we're going to go right into the games. Before we go live, I wanted to talk a bit about the Old Border Cube. I'm going to give a couple of neat little card views here. Because last time we talked about doing this nice Old Border Cube experience. Talking about the Old Border Cube. And I want to do an entire episode on it. So just to give you guys a preview of what's going to happen, let's see some of these cards here that we're going to talk about. So back in the days when you wanted to go aggressive, white, aggressive, this was the favorite choice, right? The Savannah Lions. What a card. This was just amazing, this card. You could also do it in black. In black, you could also go aggressive. In black, you would go aggressive with something like this bad boy. Carnophage. What a card here. This was also great. 2/2 for 1. And you took 1 damage of life. But yeah, you could beat down. So this is like... sometimes the tide shaper for us is actually started up better. But also you could do some really cool stuff. Look at this bad boy here. This is the original Necropotence from Ice Age. Look at this one. What a beaut. The demon. Or the skeleton here. So Necropotence was, back in the days, this card was insane and was a continuous card engine. You didn't have a draw phase, but you could draw as many cards you wanted. You would just pay 1 life for them, and then you could get them at the start of your next turn. So you can just fill up your hand every time you ended your turn, and you could get them the next upkeep. So this card was insane. One last card I want to show you is also another old school card. This is a bit more unknown for some people. This was back from the dark. This was one of the really, really strong cards for white. This one is called Preacher. It's a very valuable card as well from the dark. 3 mana 1/1, but you can just tap it and gain control of target creature and opponent's control. They chose it, but that's still pretty strong. And you would of course have to tap it and continue to tap it down. But that was a nice card. And when we finally do our old border cube rundown, I'll show a lot more old school cards. But just to give a preview of what's coming. But let's get into the league here. And this is the deck we are running today. Looking at the mana base, when we were running last time, we were running an interesting net list. But not still impressed entirely by Archmage's Charm. I want to test it again. But I still felt that we needed the oomph that Mutavault gave us with some attacking creatures here. So we are back to the traditional mana base here. We got the Mutavaults back in it. Then we only have place for 1 Cavern of Souls. I think Cavern of Souls is great, but you can't have too many non-blue sources. We have, of course, double Otavara. One of the things, we were running 4 Warlock Groves, but I think we can't really afford it again here because we need the blue sources, so we cut down a couple of those. And then we got new islands here. I had some positive feedback on these ones. They are Mystical Potato approved. I'm glad to hear it. Old school lands as well. So also we got all the regular. Here we got the Ethervile, the Tide Shapers. We got all the regular 2-drops, or 4 Adepts, or 4 Tricksters, or 4 8 Lords here combined. We bumped up to 3 Spring Seas. I actually think they're pretty decent in the meta. We found not starting them out that much last time we played. Instead of Archmage's Charm, we are just running 3 Forces of Negation in the main deck. But to make room for these great Master of Waves, we are cutting down a bit on Subtlety. For the main deck, we have still 1 Subtlety. And then we're trying to run this list here. The dismembers went to the sideboard. We found that we were siding them out quite a bit, but I still think they are valuable to have in your 75. In testing against Artifact decks, Hercules Recall is looking really strong. I want to have that in there. I'm still unsure about which type of bounce effects I want. So I'm running one Harbinger, one Brazen Borrower. I want both of these cards is actually great, but we are limited till for the amount of cards we can actually run in the sideboard. The 2 extra subtleties for dealing with elementals. We need, of course, the 3 relics, because they are just amazing against many decks. And the only thing we can do against Cascade decks, especially Living End, is actually Chalice of the Void. We tested counter magic. We got a side counter magic in, but because of grief, we need the Chalice, so that's why they're in there against Living End. And then sometimes they can work against something like Hammer Time. Maybe that's something we could test out. Or against Murktide, also running Chalice down for 1. So that's our list today, and it's going to be fun to see how we will go. Let's get into the action here. Got a match. This is Gwyn Blade. We won the roll. Not sad about winning the dice roll. We can keep this hand. We can definitely keep this hand. So we got the option of running out here. I think we don't know anything about it, so I want to keep the Tide Chipper in hand. If they have something I want to counter, we lead on an island, potentially into Cavern of Souls, which could be nice in this matchup here. We don't know yet. Flooded Strand. What could this be? Temple Garden. Okay, so this is the... we start against the banger deck here. This is the 4-color value. Not sad about that one. I don't think we run out the cavern yet. So let's just do this. So we can't really do anything about, this would be bad to Tide Chipper. We can't really do anything about the effect here, so we can't manage to deny them. Let's just run it out, showing a lot of Atlantis, doesn't really matter. Svar could be nice. Svar could be a good card. He just plays down a Tavara. What does that mean? Ooh, Master of Waves could be nice here. Interesting situation, as this could easily be something... Could this be a counter magic? I don't exactly know how much counter magic they are running. We need to be aware of this. I don't think they're running counter magic. So maybe they're just having a slow draw. And if they're running counter magic, they can't counter us due to Cavern of Souls. So let's just get that one out. Now we can consider playing out Tide Chipper. I think we want to potentially overrun them as much as possible. They'll give us some information here. So imagine we do this, then we can play a really big master next turn. And just do a lot of damage. I think actually it's better just to run out the Tide Chipper. So if they can counter this, then that wouldn't even be that hard, right? Icefang Quaddle. Okay, so important card here. He could have traded here. That's crazy he didn't do that. No, he doesn't have Death Touch, of course. So it was good we played that out. Icefang Quaddle. It's not all the lists are running Icefang Quaddle. So what will he do here? Good old Misty Rainforest. Sometimes they will be running. There's a new Bring to Light version where they can use Bring to Light to find the backside of Valky, getting that big planeswalk out. And they're not necessarily playing Fury per se here. 1 mana. Can they really do anything about the Lord? Woodvault is actually decent. So, different lines here. I think it could be decent to getting down the Master. Then they need to just answer that one really fast. And even though the problem is that these guys are right now, we don't have Island Walk. So the consideration is, do I want to trade the Lord Financial with these 2 Archon Quals? I don't think I do. But if I want to attack in, I might as well just play down Master of Waves first to get the triggers, and then attack afterwards. I think that makes sense to do. And now I can attack in with my team. I don't think I think it's fine to trade with these 2. Then they take 5 and go to 8. I don't think it's better to stay back with this guy. The problem is that if they can do anything against the Lord, then they can block properly. But then I have this crazy board afterwards. So if they use Solitude on that one or something, it won't be the worst. Okay. This is fine, we have 1 more. We're getting in for 5 damage. Sometimes they have Supreme Verdict. That wouldn't be the best situation, but then we can still get in for 3 next turn. For now they have Snowcore, so the creatures are Death Touch now. So actually pretty decent we got them off the ground. I think it's 3 Snowcore they need to have Death Touch. We'll take out our Cavern. That seems pretty crazy. Why did he do that? Why did he do that? He doesn't have an answer to Master. This is looking bad for the Windblade. Look at this guy. He's dancing on the waves. 2 mana. What can you do here? Solitude is pretty decent. Okay. So there's a couple of things we could be considering here. I think we need to attack with Mutavault. The question is Master a good play? What will Master do? He needs to handle the Master of Waves to kill all these. So I'm imagining something like him playing, but Solitude was actually a great draw. So let's just play down this one, and then we can choose not to attack with Mutavault. He needs to activate something for, maybe he'll evoke Solitude or something. And then we can play Subtlety, and Subtlety we can activate. And if we do anything with creatures, we can just pitch the Master. But I think it's better just to play down the Waterlogged Grove and attack with everything. Let's see what he can do here. So yeah, so Solitude, that's absolutely fine. You counter it. So that's not good for us. Well played by him. But he'll still take 4 points of damage. And next turn we can master, and we do have the Muda Vault as well. So we are in it, we're still in it. Hey Contra, hey Castro. Yeah, and they have the island out now. So let's see what we draw here. So we can actually yeah, so second Solitude is crazy, but let's imagine he can hardcast it. So let's imagine we go for the double play. Then he will use Subtlety and take out the master, so we can't copy it. Then we'll copy a Silver Adept, draw a card, and attack with 2/2/2s. He'll trade 1 and go 2. He'll take 2 damage, go up to 5. Is that bad? Then we will have 2 creatures out in the Muda Vault. Alternatively, you can just attack. So if you play Muda, I think we just play Muda Vault and activate Muda Vault, play Master, attack with the team. Then he plays Solitude, removes Master, blocks 1 creature. He takes 4 points of damage. He'll block the Muda Vault probably, and he'll still take 4, going down to 1, going down to 0, then going up to 3 from the lifelink. And then next turn, I think the correct play is to play Master and go for it. But we can't. He can counter it now. But if he counters it, then that's not the worst actually. So let's start by playing the Master down. We can't do Cavern of Souls here. But he can just counter if he has it. So let's see if he has a counterspell. If he has a counterspell, he can't hardcast Solitude. So that's not the worst. He didn't. So now I think we should just activate Muda Vault and attack with the team. He will take some damage, and hopefully he can deal with both the creatures here. And then he block the Muda Vault, but I think we need to go all in anyways. The problem with mimicking is that if he has the Solitude, then he'll remove the Master, and we'll copy the Adept instead. And that might actually be better, but let's see what happens here. It is the second one. It's just we get in for more damage this way. But maybe the line was better to mimic on the Adept here. Now he goes down to 3 cards in hand. We have 2 lethal threats, and next turn let's see what he does here. Maybe Teferi. This is Teferi. He can bounce 1, but I need to have more than that. Interesting, he chose to bounce that one. Okay, so here we just attack Adept into him. He'll have to use something like, is it Icefang Quaddle he's gonna use? He used 2 Icefang Quaddles already. That would be pretty good for him to do. But I think we just attack him anyways, and then we can play down the 2 threats. We can also see if we can crack the Warlock Grove to draw a Master. Oh, alternatively we can just Otavara if it's Icefang Quaddle. Then we want to attack first. Yeah, now we just attack. I only have 2 Icefang Quaddle, but that could just be the play here. It is. Okay. So we won here. can draw a card, sir. So he has to have the Solitude here. Maybe he does. The third Solitude, maybe? Maybe not. No Solitude! Mon amour, please. Please no. Nice. Okay, so in this matchup, actually, even though Master of Waves is a cool card, I don't like it here, because Solitude is vulnerable to Solitude. We want to get into Solities. I think Mystical Dispute could be nice in this matchup. I think so. Maybe Brazen Borrow is decent. Force Negation is also important. One of the things I'm wondering here is that Force Negation is nice and Svelun is nice. Spring Seas, I could just cut one Spring Seas and say this is it. I think this could be a nice, decent sideboarding strategy. Brazen Borrow is not insane. The bounce effect doesn't really matter that much. I think we force something like the Planeswalkers. Maybe that's not Arena 6. Is that good enough? They also have like Prismatic Ending or something and Teferi. Force Negation is not insane. I think Mystical Dispute is better in this matchup. So we could take one out. One Force Negation out, and then maybe just one. Yeah, and Renner 6 is really good for them, so I think Force Negation is decent in this matchup. It's never really dead. I think this is fine. We try Mystical Dispute. I want to test it in this matchup. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it could be good. So let's just run it back. Subtlety. Gwyn Blade. I'm almost thinking this hand does too little, but we do have a Cavern and a Muda Vault here. It's many islands we need to draw really well. But I'm actually considering keeping this simply because we have a decent. We have a. If we look, it's just that if we can't really afford to draw any islands. That's of course the problem here, that if we draw poorly, and we need multiple threats to draw from, and the spreadsheet is not even that good. Yeah, I think we might mulligan this simply because they will be able to handle, if we don't have enough threats, they will be able to handle it. So let's mulligan this one. This is okay. This is much better, much better. What do we even take away here? I just think we maybe just cut out the Warlock Grove. This hand can go fast. Let's go. The Abundant Growth turn 1 play. The Dream. Did they mulligan? Yeah, they also mulliganed. Nice. Not that I'm, hoping that they will have misfortune in their life. But I, of course, enjoy that I'm not the only one mulliganing. Looks great. Okay, Breeding Pool. So they can maybe Renner 6 here? No, it's not Renner 6. What is it? Main deck, main phase. What are we doing here? Ah, that's rough. This card is so good. But let's just get added down. I don't think we need to tie Tipper yet. You are 1 turn too late, brother. Okay, here's where we force a Teferi, if you play it. Maybe? I think we do. That was an... oh, what a tech. Yeah, exactly. So that's not even the worst. So this... I'm considering if they're holding in the counter magic against us. If we play a Lord and they counter it, is that really that bad? Yeah, I think it's fine just to play Lord. Let's see if they hold in counterspell. I don't know if they do, but I think we can't sit around doing nothing, and we have triple Lord, so. Nothing. Yeah, if it's Quaddle, let's see if they play Quaddle here. No. Maybe a slow hand here. But now they can play not even. What is going on here? What do they have? Oh, that's a great card. Okay, but we'll play down the Master just to avoid getting blown out by Solitude here. And Icefind Quaddles. So we just play down the Master again. See what he does. I think we just attack with the team. This is scary. What will they have? If it's Supreme Verdict next turn, that's pretty good for them. Maybe they have something now as well. What could that be? I don't really know. I'm always on my toes playing against these guys. Okay, Quaddle, and then he can block the Lord when he solitudes the Master, maybe. And he'd still take 2 damage. And oh, dress down. That's pretty cool. But he has no death touch, but he can trade with the Adept. Yeah. I don't think it's worth. You could of course have subtlety the Icefind Quaddle. That could be a play, but I'm just I'm wondering here when they will play the Solitude for 5, which could be the play now. We have these tide shepherds to pitch to our our free spells, so that's absolutely fine. What would it mean to force this? I think that would be pretty nice to force this. Then we are 8 points of damage next turn. 3 cards in hand. It could be a counter spell, this one. Maybe we just let this resolve. No, then he can just counter an out turn. I think we do this here. We want to keep up the pressure. We can reuse the tempo. Now he can counter this. But that's just how it is. Then we still have a subtlety and a Master next turn. But otherwise he would have countered our Master next turn. So now we can still get in for 3. This is getting bananas. We are doing work with our 2 lands. Teferi. Is it time to do this with the Teferi? I think we do. What do we pitch? Yeah, I actually think we should bounce this simply because we can be lethal if he has nothing else. I think we need to go for it. But I think we maybe just pitch the subtlety to subtlety. I think I want to go for this, just for the tempo. Which card do we exile? Okay, so there's arguments to exiling both subtlety or tide shaper. I think tide shaper is like a threat we can resolve next turn if he has more to do here. But the subtlety could be amazing as well. But I think we need to just pitch the subtlety here, so we have a different threat next turn. Button conceded. Okay. We did it. Nice. That was pretty good. Up 2-0. The force negation and subtlety were doing work here. And we have even found a match again. I wanted to show you one more crazy magic card. Cup Stance. Remember, if you like what I do here for people watching on YouTube, and I'll be doing an old border cube rundown, but this is one of the original coolest cards for reanimation. This was such a nice card. You play 5 mana and then you just resurrected the top creature card and remove that in a turn, but then you can do it each turn. What a cool card. So of course, as always, if you like what I do here with running a lot of modern and doing something like these old border cube videos and stuff like that, remember to subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing a lot more content. This hand does absolutely nothing. I think we need a bit more proactive hand. We are on the draw. I don't think that matters, so we mulligan here. This is way too slow on the draw. Much better hand here. And I think in the dark we just want to pitch out the force. Hey Motown, we are up in the Model League with we beat out 4-color value Omnath, whatever it's called, the 4-color value deck. We beat that 2-0 in the first round, so we are up in the league here. What do we take back? I think we just take back the force negation. Yeah, it's fine. We don't want to pitch any of these cards. That's too great. Oh, what's this now? Oh my lord, are we up against humans? I don't like this matchup. These guys are fast as hell. So this guy will probably be a 2-2, but at least they didn't have an Ether Vial, which is also something they play with. Humans, up against humans. And I call this Ancient Cigarette, and I think it's unfair. You shouldn't be smoking. Ancient Cigarette. Esper Sentinel. How is that also a human? That's so insane. And this guy would be so strong, a big. Now we need our bounce spells. Oh my god, he'll attack for 4/4. Nice play by the Slade DF to the win. Slade for the win. You are Slade for the win. Attacking as a 4/4 in round 2. That's not bad. Not bad at all. We'll be under pressure in this game. I don't think there's any point in spreading season this matchup. But now we can Adept and Tide Shaper. The Tide Shaper would be a 1/1, and he'll probably attack with this big dude, so that's not that interesting. But I want to definitely get down the Adept, and that is something we would like to see what will draw us here. So let's just throw Adept down, and I think I don't want to reveal the Tide Shaper, so I have an option of doing anything here. Let's just reveal Svealoon. Maybe it's better to reveal the Tide Shaper, then he'll be scared of that. He'll probably just attack with a champion, which is better for us. So I'll just reveal the Tide Shaper, and then Svealoon come down next turn. Ooh, Lord, that's pretty nice. We'll just take the damage this next turn here. Did you choose Worm? Oh, he chose Human. Uh-oh. Oh, Imperial Recruiter. Love this card. Look at the way he's going off here. We do have the option of... if we draw land, we can potentially Otavara at some point. So we can play down to Veluna and then we can Otavara next turn. Tireless Lieutenant. That's a really good card. And so they put each other human gets a counter, so that's really strong. I think we take the damage here. So we're already on 11. It's not looking that hot. And I think we need to just put in the Tide Chipper just as a blocker. It's going to be a 2/2 where we can sit around and durdle here. Now we can get in an indestructible Svealoon. It will be pretty nice. Let's hopefully draw a land here. I would like to draw a land simply because then I can keep my Otavara in hand. That will be relevant against the champion. And we won't even get the exponential trigger on the Otavara. The Spreading Seas is just really bad here. What are you considering while I use my Ether Vial trigger? What will you do? What is up, George C. Scott? Slade for the win. But Slade is not negative. Getting Slade? I would say so. Oh, it's our turn. Yes, please. Land? Not a land. So I'd rather only get the Svealoon down, and we can't really... Can we attack? Can we attack? What would he block with if I just attack with the Silvergate Adept? He'd probably only attack with one creature anyways. So let's just attack with the Silvergate Adept. I don't think we can do that actually. We will only get in for 2 points of damage. I think it's better to keep it back for blocking. He'll get a 1/1 counter on everything next turn. So we need all hands on deck on the defense. We want a Lord instead. Unfortunately, we didn't draw the land, but I think we need to be able to use Lord here. This is a matchup where the Harbinger of the Tides would be really great. We don't have that many of that type of effect. Spreading Seas is getting expensive. 5/5 Champion with Parish. And now we can play down the Lieutenant, buffing up his entire team. Now the Spreading Seas will be impossible to cast without him drawing a card. Here's the Lieutenant. But he is a bit in a bind here, right? Because, yeah, he can attack, but we have an indestructible creature. And the Spreading Seas will be relevant when our board is big enough. Just need to stay alive here. Okay. What will you name with Meddling Mage? Oh my god. How did he know I had a Spreading Seas? Let's see what he does. If he doesn't attack with... Oh. Ooh la la. Ooh da da. He is all in. That's interesting. So I could start trading off here. I don't want to take the 8 points of damage, but I can... If I violin the Lord... I would also just violin, adept, and block these two. The Lord is actually not as interesting right now. So I think I need to... Maybe we can just jump the champion. And then we do just like this. I think this is not the worst. Doing like this. Then we eat up 2 creatures. Just jump one. That's not the worst. The Lord is not helping me that much here. Because the problem is that if I violin the adept and block here and then adept, then Svelun will lose indestructible. Oh, I got another better idea here actually, because I wanted to keep these creatures alive. Jump, block there, and then vial in an adept. Then we take 2 damage. That doesn't really matter. He's 0 cards now. What can he do? What is he considering? Are you slayed for the win? Master of Waves is indeed interesting. That's actually really, really good. That's actually really, really good. Maybe I want to go up for vialing up for Master of Waves, which means that I want to put down the Lord when the trigger's on the stack. Let's do that. So, put it on the stack. This is an interesting situation. He's played out his card. I can't play my Spreading Seas. So in order to do creatures unblockable, I need to... yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please. And then we take up the vial, which means the next turn we can vial in the Master. Svelun. Yeah. I can technically cycle that, which is also a decent attack. If I just attack with Svelun and play down the other Svelun, that's not the worst. I can't do much else here. They have no islands, so, and I can't play my Spreading Seas, and the Master's coming in next turn. So maybe if I just attack with Svelun and play the Svelun, I'll just cycle this card. I don't think that's the worst. Also the card here we draw will let us see something very interesting. Does that change anything? No, I think it's still correct. Master is pretty cool. Next turn we can vial up. And if we draw land, we can both pay Master and activate Mutavault, and then we have a lot of creatures. What's up, Honeycup? Badoo, badoo, badoo. I wish I had more Savannah Lions. Let's go in there, Savannah Lions. Best 1-drop creature ever. Choose a Svelun to keep. This one. Okay. So let's see what he draw here. I can't believe that he chose Spreading Seas for Meddling Mage. That's one of the cards he could value for the S potential on. Oh my god, it's a great card he drew. Non-creature, non-land. Yeah. So not the best here. Now again, if we play the Spreading Seas, he'll draw cards because of Essential. We can't play the Spreading Seas, and now he took the Spreading Seas. This is a guy who don't want us to play any kinds of Spreading Seas. But look at this, he can't do anything. This is amazing. And we should just draw one of our 3 tide chippers. We are golden. We did not. So what's going on here? If we attack, he can eat something with the champion. That is pretty good for him to do. But we can also just play down the master and draw our card and just have a jump for his thing here. So I think actually that's pretty decent. Let's just play down the master of the Pearl Trident, which means that we'll be making 1,000,000 2/1s here. Now our Svelung will also be a bit bigger, and we can attack it to draw a card here. And then we have the master from Ethervial ready to go. He's in the tank. He's in the tank. Okay, so let's draw a card. The free card. More Svelung. Yeah, that is a board state. It's actually funny that it seems complex, but it's not. It's just a lot of creatures that can't really fight each other. He can of course attack with the Kitesail Freebooter. Oh my lord, what did you find? Another, oh my god, that's a good card. Okay, his team is looking strong soon. Look at this. This is just absolutely madness. Here, actually, Master is looking pretty good, right? 1 more mana, 1 more Noble Hierarch, okay. But we just need to draw a Tide Chipper, then we kill him, right? So what will he attack with here? Oh, he's gonna kill us in 2 turns with that one, so we really need to draw it. Ah, 3 turns. No, we just played that out to board out here. That's 9 2/1s. So we gotta consider here the Muda Vault is actually pretty big. The Muda Vault is pretty big. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 6/6 because it's both an elemental and a merfolk. What happens if he attacks with everything? He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 creatures going in for 2 damage. That's 16. So I think that's a lethal swing. Am I missing something here? 1, 2, 4, 8 blockers. You can block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then 8 2/1s. That's 16 points of damage. Yeah, Motown, I think you're right. I think we're just gonna get in with it. He agreed. I agree. So actually funny with Spring Seas. Yeah, again, we won on the Muda Vault. Math is for blockers. Okay, humans. He didn't look like he had much blue. He had the Meddling Mage. Mantis Rider is also getting in there, and maybe Reflector Mage. So, how good is Mystical Dispute against this guy? Maybe that's stupid, but they have some really good blue cards. Another thing we could be considering is, I don't think Chalice for 1 is good. I don't think we can do that. I think we need the Dismembers. We need the Brazen Borrows and the Harbingers. And we probably, do we need the Subtleties on the draw? Okay, so he'll side in Deputy, all sorts of shenanigans. So these cards are good. Spring Seas, are they good? I'm unsure about the disputes. They have Metal Mage, Phantasmal Image, and sometimes the Mantis Rider and Reflection Mage. I think actually they're decent, the Mystical Disputes. I think that's fine. I think the Spring Seas in the vacuum, the Force Negation is horrible. The Spring Seas, we need them to get do unblockable, but I think it's enough to just have the title. We just need we don't need too much of that effect. Master of Waves is actually good in the board stalls, but they do have a lot of things to interact with it. Maybe that's not good enough. We're gonna get under pressure for this game here. Maybe check out one. But the Svelun is great, so we can just take out one of the masters and here. So like this. I think this is fine. I think this is fine here. Maybe Disputes is not the best. Maybe it's just better to have these two here. And Subtlety is fine because we need to stop their fast start. I'm testing out Mystical Dispute in general. Maybe they can be good in the meta at the moment. I think this hand is a bit slow, but it's fine. We have both Harbinger and Brazen Borrower, which are great against the Champion of the Parish. And we have a Svelun that can win us here. And we have the Ethervial to catch up. So I like this hand. Yeah, I think maybe you're right. It's too narrow against humans. We can just get overrun by a fast clock. If he has the Champion of the Parish, this is not the worst case scenario for us. You do, because we have so many good answers to it here. Yeah, that's great, but we want to get the vial down. That means we can dismember and mimic next turn. And I actually don't think this is the target we want to dismember, because Harbinger and Brazen Borrower are so great against those. So whatever he plays here, this... Ooh, another one. Okay. Another one. Another one. This is actually pretty good plays by him. I think we need to dismember one of them at least. If we draw untapped land, we can also just bounce. If we don't, we'll dismember. So I think we wait for him to play a creature. Maybe he'll attack with both, right? Yeah, we just pass here. And when he plays the first creature, we can dismember. This is gonna hurt, but next turn we can Harbinger the other Champion of the Parish. And also play Adept or Lord or something. We can even both Harbinger and Brazen Borrow. So we need to dismember here, but then we'd be fine. So we're gonna take... we want to get him to attack and miss his Exalted trigger before we use dismember. That's the trick here. Humans. I'm not a fan of our matchups against many of the tribal decks, actually. Hello, Compressiranak. Welcome to the stream. We are up a game against humans in round 2. We won round 1. What is this? Adeline. Can't be countered. Whenever you attack for each opponent, great. Whenever you attack, you attack. Okay, that's horrible. We can't do anything about that. Okay, that's fine. So we're gonna take 4 damage here. That's a good card, this one. Ouch, already on 7. Luckily for us, if we draw land, we can... That's not the worst situation. Master of Waves, we didn't draw land. But I think we need to... maybe we play down Adept as a Chumpy Chumperino. And then we will be able to use Harbinger. And maybe double block this one. Bounce this one, double block this one. Take 2 points of damage. That's not the worst case situation here. I think we need to see if we can draw land. And then we have the Brazen Harbinger up here. Let's just reveal something like Master. A Svealu. Let's reveal Master here. Land? No, not land. Okay. Not loving this situation, but I think they have showed their hand. I think it's fine to double block Adeline. What can he take here? Pretty annoying he can take the Brazen Burrow. That seems weird. No, yeah, it's a creature. Of course you can't. I was just like, why doesn't he take my Petty Theft? Such a great spell. Okay, he's whiffing hard on the Kite Sail. Now the Thalia's kind of a bit annoying here, but I'm still not hating this situation. See what he does. Yeah, not the worst. Good luck, Motone, at your pre-release. That sounds nice. We will see if we can do anything here. Let's draw a land. Essentially, we can just tick up to get Svealu down. Then just play the Lord. Is that better? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I agree. This is so ugly. Adeline, not the prettiest art here. Great. Great to get a land here. I think we just play down the Lord, and then we can put in Svealu. He can hit us for 2 in the air, which is not the worst. I think I rather want to get a big master up and running here. That seems to be our win con. What did he draw? Oh, nothing. He didn't draw anything of importance as he cracked the Silent Clearing. And, uncounterable Champion of the Parish, which means that his other Champion of the Parish will now be a 2/2. He doesn't know about the Svealu, so maybe he'll do something crazy here. He will do something crazy. Okay, he will not do something crazy. Hello, Baroni. Nice, Mr. Baron, nice to see you here. Pretty good interaction here. Actually a good idea to Brazen Burrow from the Ether Vial here. That was actually pretty nice. I should have seen that. that was actually a good play. I wanted to get the value from it, but I think we still not in the worst position here. Now we get it up. Can we do it like this so we don't have to take any much damage? The question is that if this Sverloon 19 points of damage. I think we are in a situation. Maybe we attack with Sverloon actually. I think that's pretty good. We can even trade with this one. Let me draw a card. Another Sverloon. So let's just pass here. We can Brazen Borrower. And I think now we do it. I think you are absolutely right about the play. I think I have a lot of devotion to blue here. Ten horses. Let's see what we draw here. This list is not with charms, and he conceded because of horses. Master is actually doing work here. So since we got a lot of new people on here, we are up 2-0 now. That's pretty nice. Let's just have a small list here. So the list is not running Archmage's Charm. As some of you know, Muddervalls is my favorite card. And I think we needed a bit of oomph sometimes when we run the Archmage's Charm. Testing them out. But I think Master of Waves looked really great. So I actually chose to incorporate that little setup here. 3 Master of Waves. So we are happy about seeing them, and they also look to be performing really strong. I think both games against humans, it was about us stalling them out, and a nice call, Compressionary. We should actually have done that play earlier with the Brazen Bar, but here we at least got to get 2 extra pips of devotion, right? So it was like they would make 10 horses. You can see here, I am already ready. I am ready. Let's see if we can find it here. Yeah. So here we got them. I actually think this is the best art. Let's see. So for masters, because they are 4-drops, we took 2 of our main deck subtleties and put them out in the sideboard. And we have moved the dismembers to the sideboard as they were being sided out a lot as well. And then instead of the Archmage's Charm, we just run Force Negations. And then because we got 2 dismembers and 2 subtleties and put in the 3 masters, then we have 1 slot left. And of course, I just put in another Spreading Seas. We gotta spread the love. Krebrovich. No companions. Yeah, 1 companion. This is a companion if I've ever seen one. Look at this guy. What a crazy one. 1 subtlety in the main still. I think it's fine to have the option of having a couple of 2 in the sideboard and 1 in the main deck, so we can adjust it around. So we have 1, so we have 4 4-drops in total, 3 masters and 1 of the other ones. I think this hand is absolutely fine. It's not the fastest, but on the play it's fine. We can play out. If they are Yorion deck, they are a greedy mana based deck. So the consideration is that if we want to do the mana deny strategy plan, we could have something like Tidechipper into Spreading Seas to see if we can do that. I think we keep this hand. But I don't think I want to play out the Tideshipper. And that could be a play to do so. Maybe that is actually better. It's difficult to see. So could be the Blink deck, for example. Could be the Omnath deck. Maybe I just want to get Speedy Gonzalez in this matchup. But I think having the Spreading Seas and the Tideshipper means that we have a chance of mana denying them. So I think actually it could be that it's better just to use the creatures like this instead. And then go for the Tideshipper Spreading Seas early plays to see if we can mana deny them. Maybe they have a poor draw. So that's a consideration. I think that's pretty tight. Either you go for putting down a Tideshipper and probably only damaging in for 1 here, because often they just have a fetch land. So you see, we're gonna make this one into an island. And we're gonna do it with our Tideshipper, because we need pressure. And I think if I didn't have the Spreading Seas to back it up, I don't think I would have went for that line. I don't think so. Kripovic in the tank. That's actually fine. I think we want to still play out the Tideshipper here. In the dark, we play out the Tideshipper. And we try to see if we can mana deny him here. This little awesome magic card. And let's see if we can. If we draw multiple lands, then the Otavara could be decent as well as a spell. What is happening? Look, no, look, he can't do anything. At least he can play out Ren 6 here, right? Okay, that's actually pretty good for him. Now he will be able to do it, but yeah. Are we still going for it? That could actually be pretty fun. If we go to do that into an island, then he has... Then he needs to... Of course he will be able to play Ren 6, but... We are stalling him a bit here, but maybe this is the time where we just say, okay, we just save the Spreading Seas for later, and we try to develop our board by playing... maybe just playing a Master and attacking, or playing an Adept to draw a card. If we don't put on the pressure here, I think we will be too slow. But then again, the Spreading Seas is not getting better sitting in hand. We are beating in for 2 here, and probably he needs to do something where he needs to crack his lands again. I think maybe we'll annoy him a bit here. And maybe we can also draw another land than the Otavara. We did not. So let's just get that one down. The Abundant Growth is good against a good hedge against getting mana screwed. I think actually that's also why they play it, right? Because Merfolk is so good at mana denying you. They need the Abundant Growth value. Ooh, a mountain. That is sexy. Oh my god. Hexproof for multicolored. Whenever you cast a multicolor spell, you get a big dude. Okay, that's some tech if I ever seen one. This is absolutely news to me, I gotta say. What's this guy called? The General. Really cool card though. General Ferrous Rokiric. Hexproof. 3/1. Hexproof from monocolored. Okay, so we still trade with him. It's simply a deck called... There's a deck called General Ferrous. And they play Fury and they play Hititsu Consumes All. And Furies and Omnath and Bloodghast and Shardless Agent. So it's actually a bit of a cascadey deck here as well. Lightning Helix. Oh my god, this looks like a poor matchup for us. But I don't think we want to tangle with that dude. Let's draw a land. Come on. Land. So that's one. It's targeting that one. And that land. So the Tideshipper is not really relevant here. Actually, there is a consideration for playing out the adept to draw the land to play something, but I think the problem we have here is actually he played Kavus. Yeah, I think you're actually right. Yeah. Territorial Kavu. I think this deck here. So you can see here, playing this one. Normal basic land types you control. Blood Red Elf, Omnath, only gold cards. And then they can... It's crazy that they Shardless Agent into Territorial Kavu. Okay. Yeah. I think he won't trade. So we might as well just see if we can play down the Adept and draw the land for a Master. I think that's the best play. I'm just going to show the Master. Land? Perfect. Okay, we are presenting some damage here. If we draw land, we can double Master. If we don't, we can Master and attack with Mutavault. So we are looking good here. Of course, he could be having something like Fury. No, he can't have Fury, and I don't think that he's playing Solitude. He would have Lightning Helix and all sorts of stuff like that. But I think here we need to just go for it. And if he trades that, it doesn't really matter. He'll get the 4/4. So actually, I think there's a consideration of not attacking with the Lord. Because if he, let's imagine that he probably will Lightning Helix, go back up to 15. The Master I play here, then I can attack with these 3. When he does that, he have a 4/4, and the 4/4 can then block here. And he's on 15, he'll be taking 9 damage, going down to 6. So if we just stay back with the Lord, I think that's actually pretty neat. Let's do that instead. So also if we can also just not attack with the... let's see what he does here. Is he now he's doing it? He just cracked it before then. Okay, here it comes. What is this? Prismari command. Okay. That's a weird play. I would not have done it here. Maybe it's because he's creating the treasure token to counter it. What can he counter it with? Well, he can... So the treasure token is to do with Lightning Helix. So this means that I can't really attack here. So that's because he has Lightning Helix up. So I won't do that. I will just develop my board because he'll Lightning Helix it here. So let's just not run into his traps here. If he has a Lightning Helix, he'll shoot just want to block these 2. So I rather want to just tick him off some mana here. Just pass the turn. They play 4 main deck Lightning Helix, and this is just screams of Lightning Helix. This play here. Let's take off his... They have a lot of red sources. I think it doesn't really matter. We just take out that one. They don't have any double green. Now it pass, and he'll probably not do anything. The problem is that if you just hardcast Fury next time, we just boned. I don't think we can run into a Lightning Helix and just get blown out. That would be horrible. Okay, it's not Lightning Helix. What is it? Erupt Decay. Why is he erupting Decay that one? Oh, it's because he has Fury. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He wanted to get the red man for Fury. Okay. Got it, bro. But again, if he would have done the attack, he could have abrupt decayed the Master. Then he would have 2 Golems and block these 2. Then we were lost. Okay, no Fury, that's good. No Fury here. What can he play though? Yeah, destroying the Master. I like this deck though. What a cool guy. It's not the exact same list I'm looking into here, since he's playing Vindicate. Okay, so he can do 12 points of damage plus the general. So that's not enough. We just need to kill him in 2 turns. Land would be decent. I don't think it's the time to master off waves here. But I think if we just... so we can't really double spell. So I think it's better to hit him for 9 with a master. Yeah, we just hit him for 9 here. And then we can jump block with the master. That won't really matter. Yeah, I need to do that. We need to jump block with the master because he might have lightning helix. If he does have lightning helix, he can kill the master, but then he can't kill us, and then we can play another master. Another one. Yeah, Echoing Truth would be insane in this matchup here. Absolutely right. Echoing Truth being able to remove all of the same name tokens. These golem dudes here. Hexproof from multicolor is pretty nice, I gotta say. He's protecting himself really well. Okay, Teferi, that's a pretty good card. That doesn't mean that it's not Lightning Helix, which is good for us. And he can bounce the master, which means that he will die next turn. I don't understand what he's doing here. Unless he has something more. So maybe if we... Now it seems like we should be... Okay. We're searching for an answer. What an odd deck. We don't really have that much against it. Tokens. Tokens. Blue cards. Blue. Many of the cards are blue, right? Not enough. I don't think it's this particular list here. General Ferrous. What is going on? General Ferrous. Okay, it doesn't seem like they are siding in one of the cards I don't like, the one that kills an artifact and does 2 damage. In Rakdos colors, I don't know why I can't remember the name here. They probably have a lot of removal post board. The Dismember doesn't work against the general, so we don't need that. Is he using his graveyard? He's not using his graveyard. I don't think we can chalice. I don't think that's worth it. I think we should consider Subtlety to counter the when he plays his creatures and plays the general. Also, if he plays something like Omnath or something like that, that would be pretty good. I don't like Mystical Dispute. Maybe Counterspell would be actually good in this matchup, but we don't have it here. Harbinger and Brazen Borrows are also decent, so we took those in. Can we Mana Scream? I don't think we can, but and they have unblockable naturally, so I actually don't think that's that good. Force Negation. I think they will probably side in something like maybe Force of Vigor. We had some targets as well. Well, it's tiny. I don't think they'll side in Force of Vigor. Force Negation, is that good? I don't think so. I think it takes one Force Negation out. Let's do it like this. Yeah, I think actually this is maybe a bit crazy. If we side in Subtleties, we maybe need to side out Master of Waves just so we do not overlock our 4-drop spot. That was maybe a bit too hastily here. But this guy, he's got to be doing well in his league as well. Kreprovic. Who is slow on the clock? It's me that's slow on the clock. Why? So I'm also always the slow one. God dang it. But this time he is in consideration mode. What would we do here? Okay, I think we need to mulligan this hand. On the draw we can actually just play Mimic and Mutavault into double Adept. That might be too slow. But we do have a Brazen Borrower against one of the tokens. I think we keep this. I think now Cabo comes in. Oh, what is this? What is this? It's a Ren 6. That's really unfortunate against our specific game plan. I didn't see... I didn't consider him playing that. Then I think we might be better off Tide Shivering. We can get him off black mana. Or red mana. No, we can't really do that, but I don't like editing here, as you can just Ren 6 kill it. So I think we need to take him off one of the colors, and what could that be? But if we do it on the red man, he can play the general at least, so that should be pretty good. Now we're also presenting a threat that Ren 6 can handle. What will happen? So he plays down with the foothills again. Corrects that, get his value. Ren 6 is a great card. And he does nothing. This is where I'm scared. Okay, might as well just start by attacking Ren 6. See what's gonna happen. You look like a guy who has something. See what it is. Put the K. Yeah, I think we just need to get this one down. And yeah, let's just show another one. Hopefully we can draw a land here. We did, that's nice. So, okay, not the best. He can just shoot it, but then at least he will have to take his Ren 6 a bit down. Not loving it, but that's how it is. If we draw land, we can attack with Mutavault as well. And still play down something. And maybe the masters are a little bit crazy here. They can't get shot by Ren 6. They will be able to be terminated. But I don't know what is going on. What specific deck I'm playing against here. Now suddenly it looks like it's just a normal 4-color value deck, right? That's the crazy thing. New to light. Okay, so maybe it's a different version here. Yeah, okay. There's a different version playing Yorion and using Abrupt Decay, Lightning Helix, Kaya's Guile, Prismatic Command. Yeah, this could be the one. Vindicate, Supreme Verdict, and bring. So it's a Bring to Light deck. And what are they siding in? Probably Mystical Dispute. He's in the think tank. Thinking in the tank. He's playing slowly. I think he is totally out of boil here. Maybe Kreprovic. And while we wait for him, we can talk about another of my favorite cards here. This is a beauty. This was one of the original aggro win cons from back in the days. You can see this is a bit bent off here, but Cursed Scroll. What a beaut. This card costs 1 mana. You can activate it for 3 and name a card, and target opponent choose a card at random from your hand, and if he or she does hit the name card, you deal 2 damage to target creature player. So you're just burning him continuously, because at that time you had emptied your hand with all the small Jackal Pups or Savannah Lions or whatever you were doing, and then you could just use your last mana to just use this continuously. What a awesome win condition. I just love this card. So flavorful. Also look at the art. It's a bit banged up, but a really nice card. Really nice one. Yeah, which kind of one drop? I've been thinking a lot about that, Compressor Knack. Which kind of one drop do we need? Someone mentioned that it would be nice to have some sort of one drop that was maybe hexproof and unblockable or something. Maybe a 1/1 Merfolk with hexproof and unblockable. And I'm not actually quite sure that that's what we need. I think actually the concept that the concept behind Curse Catcher is absolutely nice, because that's exactly some of the things that would be great for a one drop. We want to store them a bit in the early turns, you know, Tide Chip or Spreading Seas, those types of effects is really great for one drops. So I actually think it would be more nice if you can get a one drop that could be, you know, not necessarily extremely aggressive, but more something you could board naturally out with, get some value or stall them a bit. And something that also could give immediate impact later in the game, drawing it, because that's the problem with Curse Catcher. It's a horrible top deck later. So I was looking at something like Thraben Inspector, which I think is nice, really nice design. The 1/2 for 1, the 1/2 for 1 in white that gives you a value card. You get an artifact right away. So that card is actually pretty nice, because that's exactly the kind of effect we want. We want to get an early Merfolk out there. It doesn't have to be the best Merfolk in the world, but if it gives us some value, that's a clue token they get. So something like that, but maybe something that maybe can interact with the opponent. I would love something like a Frost Breath effect in something like a token or something. Something like that would be amazing. So I think that could be pretty nice. A 1/1 Merfolk that would give you a Frost Breath effect. That would be really cool. Okay, we got him back. Kreprovic is back. Did he forget to use his Renin 6? I think that was ill-advised. Is this a guy playing counter magic? So he's gonna handle the Svalun if we play that out. So I'd rather want to draw land and maybe play 2 spells here, because he might have Mystical Dispute. But I think maybe he's in trouble for his connection or something. It seems like he's DC'd or something. No, But while we wait for him, we can talk about another awesome old card. And now it's getting a bit crazy, but you know, back in the days, we didn't have the best creatures. So this actually was a great creature when it was printed. And today it's not really, but it's in the cube because it's nice in the cube. This is Ravenous Baloth. This was the first time you just straight up the gates got a 4/4 for 4. You never seen that before. A 4/4 for 4, that's absolutely crazy. And then you had a small upside on it. That was pretty nice. Pretty nifty card. Okay, that's not the card we want here. And I actually think that instead of playing out the Brazen Borrow into his counter magic here, I think it's better to try to see if we can double spell. So I think we should try to play out the Adept to draw a land. And if we draw a land, we can play the Trickster at end step. Of course, he can just Renaissance the creature. So maybe it's better just to play out this Svaelun now. The odds of drawing lands, blue sources here are not the greatest. We are in a bit of a bind that way, but I think it's still better to do it like this. And I'm just gonna show a Master of the Pearl Trident here and see. If he has a counter magic here, then that's not good either, but at least we're not getting that one countered. Okay. Land would be nice. It's not a land. So we have to pass the turn. Maybe it would have been better here to play out the Svaelun, but I'm just, in this case, a bit worried about counter magic. Or maybe just, you know, something, a removal spell would also be bad. Oh my goodness. Now I'm glad that I did not do that. Kaya's Guile, we need to remember that one. So that would have been horrible against Svaelun. So luckily we didn't do that. And we're not in the greatest spot, but we're not totally screwed either here. We need to draw a land soon. He's not presenting a really hefty clock, and he's just sitting with all his interactive spells. Oh my lord, he has Niv-Mizzet. Oh, this result would have been great. You will probably get a lot of value out of this card. Now, it's looking... if we have Niv-Mizzet, how many cards did you get? Prismatic Ending. They draw all the multiples. Assassin's Trophy. Kaya's Guile. Okay, so he has a Kaya's Guile now. What is he here? Assassin's Trophy and Kaya's Guile. Okay, so 2 removal spells. That's not that great for us. We did draw a land though, and we can trickster down the Niv-Mizzet. I think that would be pretty good. And if we do that, we can only play the Adept. So let's start by doing that, and we'll do that by showing. We're showing the Master before, right? Let's just show the Master. That's fine. Perfect. So Assassin's Trophy can kill off the Svaelun if it's not indestructible. So we need to get it to be indestructible before we play it here. I think we need Mystical Dispute here, but the counter spell would also be nice in this matchup. Right now I'm not using counter spells, but I think it might be correct to have them in there. But he's going value town here. Resolving an Niv-Mizzet turn 5 unhindered. That's not a good sign. So here we can attack it for 3. He has Assassin's Trophy. Maybe we need to develop our board more instead. But the Master Wave is looking horrible in this matchup. There's so many ways to remove it. What if we play down? I think we need 2. We're gonna take the damage in the air here, and that's 800 damage. We're gonna die in 2 turns. That's not good. We can't really bounce that one, but let's just get a board out as fast as possible. Maybe we ignore Ren 6 and try to see if we can kill him off here. I've ignored Ren 6 before, and that's typically not gonna end well. So maybe we need to just try to avoid the Spirit Token and get in and hit it. But the problem is that we can't really beat the Niv-Mizzet. And he has too many removal spells, so we are way behind here. I think we just attack Ren 6, so maybe we should just attack him and gamble. He'll be able to probably just kill off the Lord. If he kills off the Lord, he can block with the Spirit Token. Then we're really not doing it that much, so then it doesn't really matter who we attack. And we go down to 16, taking 8 points of damage, and we did in 2 turns. So next turn we need to Brazen Borrow Bounce, which is horrible. Bounce effects is not good against Niv-Mizzet. So if I could get him down to 11, would that be good? I'm not even killing the Ren 6 here, so let's try to do that. We're not in a good spot. And he can just kill off that one. Let's use that ability. We need the island, that's pretty good. And now we can bounce with Brazen Borrow and Niv-Mizzet, but that's just so bad. But again, one of the things we could do actually is just bounce a token. Okay, he's going Prismatic Vista here. What if we bounce a token? What's this now? Omnath. Okay, I think you got it, bro. I think you got it, Kerebrovich. And we will get in Mystical Dispute. We'll probably also maybe considering getting in Force Negation. I think the Master of Waves are too volatile. Since we see... we can't. We can kill Omnath. Is that good? Killing Omnath, is that really good? What else do they have? The General, we can't kill the General. We can kill Omnath. We can't kill Niv-Mizzet. So I don't really like it. It's only Omnath we can kill with this member. Maybe we just need 1 Spreading Seas and 1 Force Negation. And we play with the full 5 here. Brazen Borrow is actually not that interesting in this matchup. What are we bouncing? I think we don't need those. Maybe we just have the Spreading Seas instead. We don't have the best sideboard against this guy. Normal counterspell would just be better here, but let's see if we can draw the Salties. No, they don't have Cascade. It's not specifically the list we immediately thought it was. It's a Yorion version that is only running a couple of generals, so we got confused by the generals, but you can see here, this is the list. It's a Bring to Light deck, which is why the Force Negations is good. This is pretty much this list here. You can see all the value card. All the value card here. So we got all the Force Negations. I think it's the correct path here. Yeah, on the play, this hand is decent. Considering here to play the Mimic, I think we just do. Okay, let's draw some action here. That's not action at all. It's decent though. Is he really gonna go for Mystical Dispute here? That would be pretty crazy. No, he's not. Okay, that's good. Maybe we shouldn't have played down the Mutavault here, so we could have double lorded next in 2 turns. Doesn't matter. We can attack with Mutavault, that's also decent. See, it's actually backfiring playing the Mutavault here. Muda. Lightning Helix. Okay, I don't hate that. Start playing down. Lightning Helix is a good card. Next turn we can attack with the Mutavault and play down the Trickster. See what it has here. We can tap any instant speed creatures. It's just more Lightning Helixes. Wow, he's taking that one. That's not good for us. That is heavily signifying that he has something mass removal. But I think here we just need to play down that land and play down the Ether Vial. Yeah, 3 Helix. Then he's just a 20, right? That's nothing. That's nothing we can do against that. And here come Omnath. Okay. So he hasn't played a land yet. So I think we need to tap it down now. He'll get the value from the card from the land if he has one. But we can attack him with the master. We need to draw really well here. Okay, now he doesn't get any life, and we can do it in upkeep again. So at least we can get him off his value engine. Now he can get his 4 life. Now that his mirror would have been great, but it's just the only target is Omnath. Not what we wanted. Okay, we need him to have nothing here because we drew nothing. And then we're gonna upkeep tap down this one so he can't get the value from anything. So we need to have absolutely nothing here. But if he doesn't have anything, and we can top deck our Lord or something, we're not in a bad spot. Bring to light. Not good for us. He got us. That's amazing. We can't get bounced back from this. We were so close. Here we needed him to have not, all the helixes in the world. What will that do? I'm just playing it out here. I think there's no really a chance of us coming back. He'll be able to get so much value out of the Omnath. In this game he just had it all, so... Okay, let's see if we can do something here. Bottom of library. Okay, he didn't want it. Bring to Light is a good card. We just needed our... force negation against that one. Okay, one card in hand. Cavern of Souls, not when needed. I think if we drew a Silver Galader into a Master there or something, then we would have a chance. Now it's not looking that good. Let's take up both of our vials here. Okay, maybe he draw the... I think then it's game. Yeah. Well done, sir. Rich, nice deck. So no trophy for us. That was unfortunate. Yeah, we should have had the mystical disputes in game 2 as well. But again, spicy new deck tech. I think it was pretty nice to see his deck here. Rich, Niv to Light. Niv to Light. Okay, round 3. Let's get the 4-1 against Demi. This hand is not exciting. Maybe we just try to use this as a interesting... I will just blot it out. There's too many islands this hand has. Maybe the Otavara is the reason why we can keep this. And then we just go for a play where we just play a Tidy Whip and into 2 pearls. I think we just try to keep this as an experiment. This is a service for you guys, and I will try to keep this to see what happens if we just board out here. We keep it. We are on the play. We'll play the Tidy Whip into a master, Okay, is that a winning formula? Let's see if it is. And now he's gonna play versus Saga. Yeah, was it 3 or 4 Helix? 3 Lightning Helix as his first 3 spells against in a race situation. That's pretty rough. Ooh, is it Murktide? Then it's the perfect play to do it like this, because we just need to get the Tide Shaper down to create a clock. We really didn't need the land there, but at least it's a pretty land. It's so pretty. Ouch. Okay. He is almost at Delirium already. That's actually not a good draw. So the experiment failed. We drew 2 islands, and that's why we don't really want to keep 4 hands with 4 lands. I don't think he can get Delirium at any point here, because he can get a land in, but he has already an instant in there. There's a creature. He need a creature in there, or a sorcery. So if he plays Special Variation, he'll have it up and running. See what he gets here. On top of a library. Okay. So maybe it's Express Variation he can start beating in. Here's the Unholy Heat again. So now our 6 islands and 3 cards is not a winning formula. I don't think he meant to do that. But I wanted to test Mystical Dispute against Murktide, so that's not the worst. Trickster is not bad. That's actually one of the best cards against him. He will probably have either a counter spell or removal spell, but we're still forcing him to have it. Also, Harbingers is good in this matchup. Prison Burrow is good in this matchup. We have a lot of sideboard options against Murktide. So here we let him attack and try to see if we can get this value here. He will most likely have a removal spell, but at least we won't be taking that much damage. And we force him to have it, otherwise we will be able to block him as a 1-1 dude on the floor. Here comes the removal spell. It's absolutely fine. So now we draw, let's draw Svaelun here, that'll be pretty good. Guess Murktide, Exploration. So if we could draw and if he doesn't have any more Unholy Heats and we draw a Svaelun here, we are back in the game. His hand is pretty stacked. That was not a Svaelun, it was a Mutavault though. Look at how much damage this one has created. And if he plays a Murktide next turn, we can Otawara. That would be and bounce it. That would be pretty nice. Funky art on Steam Vents, this one here. Maybe they have the double Murktide play. In that case, we want to bounce. I think we want to bounce the first one when he resolves the second one. Response. Yeah, so that's fine, bro. Now place the second one, then we bounce the first one. Okay, he didn't. You can't count this. That's why this card is insane. Back to your hand, sir. Let's start by playing that on his Spire Bluff Canal. He can basically dispute here. We have 3 mana up. We can't play that added here, so let's just exit Mutavault. It's not a horrible draw. We can, let's say we draw our Lord or something next turn. Then we can play the adept first. And also, I think in this matchup, the Master of Ways is good. Especially from a while, then he can counter it. So we need another Merfolk to be able to play the adept, so let's draw one. I think this looks like another expressive iteration. Demi. Oh, it's a Ragavan. It's a Ragavan. Okay. Maybe just a block here. If this is another Murktide, we're not glad about the situation. That will just kill us really fast. It's not. Okay, that's good. We can't have him having. Okay, maybe it is. So anyways, he's just attacking first. What can we do against another Murktide? And we need subtlety in hand. I don't think we have nothing we can do against. If this is a murktide, we are not looking good. It is. Okay, we can draw Trickster, of course. That would be really nice. That's not the draw we needed. And here we can't really attack either. 6. How far away is he from creature, land, artifact? So he will get it next turn. Let's just play it out here. We are not dead yet. But we need to block the Raglan here. And we're gonna go to 1. So we need 2 Tricksters. And we only have 1 draw to get those. So that this is not really possible. He just needs a sorcery to get Delirium. Or an instant, just a spell, any spell. Okay, he didn't get Delirium, that's pretty good for us. So he won't attack with General, that's nice. And he would just intertrade with the Ragavan, we can't have them getting the value. But then again, imagine drawing a Lord here, but we can't imagine him having nothing. I think the only play we can go for is actually let him attack us with hit us with Ragavan. He'll maybe hit a land from the top. We play a Lord, and he doesn't have a removal spell or a counter spell. Then we win on the spot. Okay. Yeah, that's the only line we can do. Because we can't stop the Murktide and the Dragon Channel next turn. Let's see what hit with Ragavan. Perfect. Adept was not the card we wanted. I'm really drawing live here. Also, if we draw land, perfect. We are drawing live. We need a land or a master. That's a master. If he have it, he has it, he has it. Ah. Dang it. Counterspell. Okay, we can counter that. Oh my god, we would have won if we played down the Glasspool Mimic last turn. Oh, this is so tight. So here we're just dead. Good counterspell. So we can counter this. That's absolutely fine, and we'll do that. What happens if we counter it by pitching? Oh, wait a minute. We can't do that in our own turn. Yeah, of course, we can't do that in our own turn. So we have to counter this, and then we have to have one more land, and we don't. Oh, so unfortunate. Okay, he also did have Spell Spears. Then it didn't really matter. Okay. Pretty close game, even though we were having such a bad start. Against Ragavans, we need Dismembers. We like Mystical Disputes. Against blue decks, we like Subtleties against Murktide. We like Brazen Borrower, and we like Harbinger, and we like Relics. That's a lot of cards to get in. So we're taking out all the Force Negations, we're taking out all the Spreading Seas. We actually like the Masters, because it'll avoid all their removal spells. So I think that's pretty nice. We can cut out one Svaloon. We can consider cutting the Tideshapers. On the play, they are just beaters. Is that correct? Master Waves is just really good in this matchup. So because they can't really kill him. They can only counter it. And we need dismembers for the early plays. Tideskipper can also block a Ragavan. Okay, so I think we just need to cut a couple of lords, and we cut a couple of masters. Because I'm no doubt that it's fine to play these two. We can cut... Atrixis is amazing, we can cut those. What are we cutting here? On the play, do we cut a couple of Ether Vials? No, not with all these 4-drops. Actually, unfortunately, these mystical disputes are looking so good because we don't have room for them. We have so much good sideboard against this deck. Let's just cut 2 more. Masters are so good. What do we do? What do we do? This is a luxury problem. We have so many good cards against them. Is Mystical Dispute insane against them? Or is it not insane against them? I want to test Mystical Dispute against them. So keep it in. Relics is good against them. Maybe we can just cut an Ether Vial and 1 master. Yeah, Roger and over. You could argue cutting Shapers, but Shapers are just... Yeah, I think actually you're right. We should have been cutting the Shapers, but they are pretty good against the early... We have the Mystical Dispute here, I like that. They're pretty good against early Ragavans. And they are also pretty good against just beating down here. Hi Andreas, nice to see you. We are... I think this is game 4. And we are 2-1. We won our first 2 games and then we lost against a really strong deck. Okay, put the... Okay, now he has creature in the yard, that's pretty good. These guys. This card is so annoying to play against. So my reasoning here is that I wanted to be able to use Mystical Dispute. He can't really murktide already next turn because he needs 1 more card in his graveyard. And he's doing this in upkeep, which is to search for a land. So of course makes a lot of sense since he played favorit on 1. But even if he did something crazy, this is not a man that's doing crazy stuff. This is a man who's in panic mode. He didn't find his land either. It seems. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he did. He does have Delirium though. He did find his land, but he needs to take damage from it. And now he can Lightning Bolt the Master. Which is unfortunate. Why would he do that now? That's absolutely crazy. And now he needs to attack. We can attack in for 2 and play down. And now I think we need to just hold up Mystical Dispute. And then next turn, if we draw a land in the next coming 2 turns. But he shocked himself and fire-arted himself so much for damage that we are in a good racing position. Dismember is interesting. Maybe it is Dismember we are doing here to stop him from gaining value. I think that's probably correct doing that now, but he has already gained all the value he needed. But then we can still hold up Mystical Dispute. Considering doing this now, it's really a big problem if you use a counterspell on his turn. I'm really annoyed about that card at the moment. I think we just do it now. Just so he doesn't get any more surveil value. So we can counter red spells, but we do have Mystical Dispute up against blue spells. So if he uses Expressive Iteration, we can counter it. Now we need to draw a land for Subtlety. There's not a land for Subtlety, but it's not the worst. Is it better just to attack with Mutavault and then pitching Trickster? I think that's fine. Let's see what he does here. Demni. It's not looking good here. This is a guy who might have a counterspell. I don't know if they're siding out counterspell. Okay. I don't think I want to attack you with Mutavault. I think in this case I rather want to hold up Trickster. Is that better to hold up Trickster? Yeah, because I don't want him to lightning bolt this Mutavault, so I think it's better to attack here. Because if he has a lightning bolt, he needs to use it on a Tide Chipper. And we want to play it down this. So we can Subtlety next turn. In his end step we can Trickster. This is a Ragavan. I don't want to Subtlety that. Maybe he has his own Mystical Dispute. And then a Holy Heat. I'm not loving this now. Maybe we just play down the Master. Maybe we just ambush the Ragavan. We can also take a hit from Ragavan. If he plays anything, we'll get back on top. The Master is also pretty insane just to get out, just because it's in, you know, what can he do against the Master? But then we can't counter his Murktide if he uses that, and Murktide can block the Master. I think we need to take one hit from Ragavan. And we'll also get a bit more fish. So do it like this, and then we just pass the turn. I'm not loving this position here. He's drawn back into it. We needed a blue card here, because then I would have just played out the Master. And he attack, and we can't ambush this. He has too many things he can do. We need to tap out for something here. Let's see what he gets. Minamo, that's good. It's probably he got the treasure token. If we jump with Muda, we can't play the Subtlety. And he's gonna play the Murktide here, we can Subtlety it. And if he has a Mystical Dispute, we are lost. This was an unfortunate sequencing. Oh my lord, he did have it. Oh, that's insane. So So that was of course not good. Otavara is good though. Now I think we just play down this and take... we can take 8 points damage. We just Otavara the Murktide. Let's see if he attacks here with Ragvan. He's playing another Murktide? I think yes. Yeah. Not loving it, but we do have Brazen Burrow, stuff like that. Tide was not good. You can play that. This is a tight game. He's on 2 HP, so if you just draw Trickster... Oh my god. And now he... The Tight was really hard for us that he hit that. Okay, that's not the worst. Okay, so in this situation here, we can draw Master for the win. We'll take 9, he can play another Murktide for the block. We should have played, we should have played the Murktide that Master wasted in that case. Okay, but now I think the only reason we can win here is to take all the... the problem is that... Yeah, the Murktide will grow. Yeah, this is not good. There's nothing we can do here. Murktide will grow, so it's lethal. We need to jump with the Adept. Tidetipper, him hitting Tidetipper there was also brutal. Yeah. Also had the... That's fine. Damn, 2-2, okay. Let's see if we can get the last one. I'll get a glass of water while we wait for the man. Just queue up and then I'll run for a glass of water while we wait for the last game. Okay, good start. Now we got a rough beat against the Murktide deck. But we had a chance in both games, and I think in game 2 we should have resolved the Master of Waves earlier. I was just fearing if he did that, he would have played the Murktide. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's always dangerous playing against the guys that are lacking their lanes, because when they finally get it, they will get value. I'll get a glass of water. Okay, we won the die roll against E-Ride Rides. Yes. So, the drawback of having too many 4-drops in your deck, and let's mulligan this to slow hand. This is better. We keep this, and I think we maybe just send back a Glassboro Mimic. We are on the play. think Spring Seas, I want to have that in the opening hand. Yeah, let's just send back the Glasspool Mimic. People are getting confused by my old school lands. Is this an old guy? Okay. That could mean a lot of things. It sure does mean that we can't play down the Spring Seas yet. Which will, of course, nothing we would be considering, but let's get down this one. And I want to just show the other adept. That's giving him really very little information. Okay, that's fine. So he didn't crack it, that was for fun. So maybe it's because it's Grixis Death Shadow. No, it's not. He just feels like taking a lot of damage. Problem here is that it's a Wrenn 6. Not good for us. Tidechipper is decent. That gives me a play that's also proactive. And I think it's fine to keep taking him off this land here. He'll of course get the foothills back, but then he's not killing the Tidechipper anytime soon. So I think I want to just play down this one here. There could also be consideration of a Trick String, but I think it's better to try to attack his lands here. Next time we can double spell. Okay. Let's see what's gonna happen here. Wrenn 6 is getting back the Wooded Foothills. He can regain his mana position, and we gotta watch out for Icefang Quartel. Icefang Quartel, the little snake that could. He needs another land to give it Death Touch. It needs 2 more Snowcourt, and he can only get 1 this turn. So we have an attack on Wrenn 6, and we draw a Lord. We'll have an unblockable attack, and we maybe even have 2 draws to get the Lord here. Because of Adept. We want to get the Wrenn 6 off the ground here. Utopia Sprawl, not the worst situation for us. This is an interesting card. Because it only works on specifically forests. This means that when I Spring Seas on the snow card, the Utopia Sprawl falls off. So if we draw, let's say we draw a Lord here, then we can kill Wrenn 6, hopefully. Yeah, we can. Okay, come on, Lord. Not a Lord, but we want to Spring Seas this one here. Notice here the Utopia Sprawl, how it falls off. We draw a card. And here goes the Lord. This is really good because now we can actually kill off Wrenn 6. And his mana is looking pretty shady here. Okay, this was a good round. Good sequencing. Look, notice here how much we are denying his mana here. From Mr. E Riots, the Riots of Riots he's playing, and this could most likely it's elementals. Whoa, 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 whoa! What's going on here? Bloodbraid Elf. Oh my lord, what a value! And I don't even I can't even subtlety that. The subtlety won't change the cascading, so I don't think I care about the 3/2. So let's just see what he gets with Cascade. A Ragavan, okay, yeah. That's of course not a, a bad sequence of sequencing, but we are just too strong here. Okay. Let's start by actually maybe we just maybe just hold up subtlety here. If he doesn't do anything, we can play down Trickster. I actually like that play. We can still get in for 3 damage. But then he'll attack with Ragavan, forcing us to trade. But then we can maybe just play Trickster. Okay, let's see what happens here. We play down. Yeah, he'll be scared about all these untapped lands. So let's just attack with the Tide Shaper. Let's attack with the Tide Shaper. This is a fun matchup here. He rides with the elemental, not elementals. This is not elementals at all. Let's just hold up all our instant. Blood Braid. Okay, maybe he will play something pre-combat. That would be nice. Blood Braid Elf. Is this really Junt? Interesting, he's playing it now. I think then we wanted Trickster. The Ragavan ability, so even though he kills my Trickster, then I also just want to eat it. If he kills the Lord, then that's just how it is. The problem is that I need to pitch this the adept if he does something crazy. So hopefully he doesn't have a play that we need to solve to here. If he had a Fury, he would probably do it pre-combat, right? This sounds like something I need to... Okay, so what can you do? What can you do here? 2 for that one, then that dies, and then he'll remove a board. Yeah, we need to do this. This is not a good situation for us. Here we rather... Here, just put back on top and then gain immense value next turn. But we can deal a lot of damage. Maybe we can even draw something like Master of Waves. Let's do that. Tide Shaper is not the worst. We get in for... So how much damage he can kill 2 of them next turn. But we can do a lot of damage here. 8 damage goes to 4. And we can actually take him off Fury Mana. That's pretty cool. Let's do that. Let's take him off Fury Mana here. He only has 1 red source. So he needs to evoke it at least, so that's pretty nice. He did have the red mana. So we can kill off 2 creatures here. Which means he's dead to a Lord. And he can't really attack either. That is a Svalu. Not hitting it. I'm unsure about the mystical disputes, if they would just be better off being counterspells. Bit more universal card, right? I think we need the counter effect. Oh no, what is this? Maybe it's 1 more. No, okay, fine. Bloodbraid. Let's see what you hit. I love Bloodbraid Elf. Seems like it's only like red and green this deck here. What a cool! It's a cool concept. That's a nice draw. Let's attack with no. Let's play that first. If you can kill something with a lightning bolt, we rather want to get the information. No, he can't. We have ward. If we have ward, but it doesn't really change anything. I think it does. I think this is just a really good play. It's unblockable as well. We have ward 1. What does that mean? I think we just played. Whatever. Don't overthink things. This is really good. That card should be a beating against him. Master of Ways still performing. We just need to sort it out against instant matchups where they are only semi. If you want to get a 4 card creature in there, what is this now? If you want to get a 4 CMC card in there, Bone Crusher Giant. Okay, you can play that as a creature. If you want to get a so expensive card into Merfolk, you really need to have value created from it. We can stomp it. Stomp it, stomp it. This is crazy. Protecting from red, not irrelevant here. Not irrelevant at all. Yeah, let's keep that card in there. We need it, we also, but the problem is again, and now we're gonna overstack our card deck here. Dismembers, are they good? No, they're not good against. No, they're not. Brazen Borrows? No, not good either. Here again, 1 counter spell. That's just so nice to do. Harbinger is not good either. Maybe we can just have a Brazen Borrow. I'm not even loving the Spreading Seas in this matchup. So actually, we have not too much here we can do. But against Ragavans, of course, we would like the Dismembers. That's actually decent. So let's get in a couple of those. We got 1 Spreading Seas. Is Harbinger better than a 1 Spreading Seas? It could be. I'm not saying it isn't. I think it's fine. I think it's good to get unblockable. Okay, you ride rides. Where will you ride to? Maybe it's because it's digital rides, right? Come on. This hand has no lands. No lands at all. This hand is a hand with lands, so that's pretty good. We just send back 1. Actually, I think we should send back 1 Oboro. I don't know. Maybe they are running something like... They had a lot of non-creature spells, but I think it's just in the case that they put in... This hand is not really good, but it does have either vial. But maybe in the case that they actually have something like Blood Moon, would be good. I really hate this hand, by the way, but I think we just keep it because we have the Ether Vial, and then we just need to draw some action. That is an action card. Consideration, of course, playing Mood Evolve on 1, but I think it's better to sidechipper whatever land he plays out here. Why is he waiting on doing that all the time? Is there any reason that like he's taking, you know, too much damage here? Maybe it's because he's playing around the tide shapers. It's actually funny. Maybe he is. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. We didn't really need that. Let's just take him off a red here. He'll probably just kill the response. Again, we see a problem here with holding these land heavy hands. Interesting, he's using Dead and Gone. Do 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 do. Sprexies. That is a nice one. Yeah, and Silvergate Adept would be really nice. Or Trickster is also decent. He has the world's slowest draw here. Now he goes for cracking these. Next time we can hold up Subtlety. Endurance. I don't think I want to evoke that here. That's put me too far behind. I can just tap it down just for the racing purposes. Interesting he's keeping that in against me. The ability doesn't really change anything, and neither does reach. So, of course, against subtlety is relevant. So, we need to draw some action here. I think actually, because we are not drawing that. He doesn't have anything either. We need to keep it on 2 because of Adept. And also we can now play the Subtlety hardcast. Yes, that's a good card. I think it is better to just Subtlety whatever they play here. Maybe when I attack, they will have an Endurance. And then I'll Subtlety it. Yeah, they did not. Okay, this is a deck. His deck is full of cards that can be taken out by Subtlety. Of course, in that case, Endurance is a bit annoying. But he'll probably attack here. No, he will not. I don't think we need to put down the Subtlety yet. Here we want to take it up. Mimic is interesting. Now we just pass. End step. Mimic, is that interesting? Oh yeah, Mimic is interesting. Because we can actually tap down with Mimic next turn. Yeah, let's do that. That's pretty nice. We just pass here. Because then next turn we can hit him for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, what's coming in now? Another Endurance. Now this is the time we want to Subtlety it. Because then we can also mimic the Subtlety, which is really strong. He'll put this on the bottom most likely. Let's see. Yes. So let's imagine him playing out something crazy here. Maybe this is the case where we never really want to put the Ether Vial up higher up now. Yeah, this is actually pretty good. This is actually looking really good here. Now we have the Otavara up and we have the Glasspool copying the Subtlety up. So we just need to keep the Vial on 3. I am not hating this situation here. Tide Shaper, interesting. I think actually what we do here is that we just relax. Enjoys is blocking really well. We can of course attack with Svealum and see if we draw first. But then I would rather that we have Tide Shapered pre-combat. So in that way we don't get blown out by anything. He'll think this is annoying because I'll keep him off red mana again. Eh? And I can see why. Whale of Summer, okay. Yeah. Still think I want to draw my card here. I have 3 Merfolks. I can't see him. No, he can't deal with those, so I need to just draw my free card. Not the worst. I think I still want to keep Otavara. That card could be a potential game changer at some point. Really interesting game this. Hello Fury. Oh my god, this is beautiful. This is absolutely magic. I love it. He should just concede actually. I like you, E-Ride Rides, and you're doing the right thing. But this play is just so strong. On top, okay, but something similar is gonna happen next turn. Oh my god, he's doing it again. Now I can't do anymore. But what is he gonna kill anyways? Maybe the Tide Shaper is annoyed about. Look at he's using 4 cards. So 2 damage to those and those. Okay, fine. And he needs to play the war triggers. This is not a good situation for the man. Not a good situation at all. We can also just consider just bouncing with Otavara just to get in with all the damage. Yeah, so he targets these 2 guys. Those are dead. What's this now? Utopia Sprawl, okay, fine. I'm gonna use a no here. And now we're gonna bounce the Endurance with Otavara. Holding up Subtlety. That's only gonna cost us 3 mana. I could go for the Spreading Seas play, but I don't really like to. Simply because then that's just too risky in my book. Otavara, okay. So fun situation here where we can actually do more mana screw. And here of course I should have took the Utopia Sprawl. Doesn't really matter here that much. Kind of the same thing if I do, but it would have been better to take the Snow Powered. Okay, we did it. We got a 3-2. I am not unsatisfied. I think we had a couple of poor draws. and plays in some of the mid games. So I think actually we could have maybe gotten a 4-1, but not unsatisfied, gotta say. Interesting with playing this list here. We can just go over it here at the end. I think definitely there is some potential in this list here right now. So the changes we tested out today was getting in Master of Waves, and he did perform. Again, we did win against humans against him. Sometimes it's just a blowout. I think the learning is that this is a decent main deck card at the moment, but anytime it's bad, get it out of there. Because it's a 4-drop, so if you're just considering it to be a medium card, get it out. So my saying is that Master of Waves is actually performing really well. Doing these kinds of plays where you can either vial in a Master of Waves is just so good. I like the configuration overall. Salties is still looking good. We have a couple out here. I was not impressed by Mystical Dispute today, and sometimes just wasting it maybe just should be Counterspell. I'm still unsure about this combination of a Brazen Borrower and Harbinger. Maybe we just have 2 Brazen Borrowers. They're good against Murktide, but then again, so is Harbinger. So I'm not really quite sure what the right adaptation is. We didn't get to meet any casket decks today, so the Chalice of the Void was not that hard. Of course, if you like what I do, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on Twitch, it was fun and nice that you had that you were watching in. Hope you had a good run. And just want to say that next time, one of the next times you're going to see me, we're going to talk a bit about some old school Magic cards. So we can also talk about red cards. Some of the best red cards. I'm really looking forward to diving more into Old Border Cube. I have an Old Border Cube we're going to talk about next time, soon. I'm going to do an entire episode about it. Look on Burning of Chenier. Look at this card. This is this is an authentic, real version from one of these rare sets. Destroy all 4 lands for each player, and each 4 damage to each creature. Then you just have mana rocks, and then look at this Flame Tongue card. This is just the original beast, right? From Plane Chase, I think this was called. 4 mana, 4/2, deal 4 damage to target creature. What a blowout! This is before Fury, the original Fury here. What a blowout! I can definitely see the Fury is better, but this was really amazing. So nice card. That's the old way of doing it. So thank you for watching. Have a great evening, and if you want to see a little more action, I'll put down my link for my latest Versus series where we played against Hammer Time. It was really fun to see what kind of matchup and which deck cards really performed, and there's a little thing you should look into if you really want to find out why is Hercule Regal a good sideboard card. Check this video out. This is really a good thing, and have a great evening, guys. Thank you for watching.